Hello, everybody, and welcome to the second episode of our seasonal content, our seasonal show here, Casting Call, where Andy and I are going to take one of our favorite video game franchises and turn it into either a movie or television program or something of that nature. We're going to cast that show or film. We're going to discuss it a little bit, and it's all for your amusement. And if you like this, hit the subscribe button because this is an exclusive YouTube.com/DualScreensTV show. That's right. There is no audio version of this. This is a visual. You get our faces in your faces. That's what you do. So please consider doing that. And this show is going to post sporadically when we have time to record it. But it is what it is. This week, we are going to be discussing God of War, the 2018 kind of renaissance of God of War, PS4 exclusive title. Andy, this one has me excited. The first episode, of course, was Metal Gear Solid, which I thought was hilarious and a great time. Of course, Shia LaBeouf, the #1 Solid Snake of all time.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
Undoubtedly, indeed.
Proven fact now.
But this one's going to be good for a multitude of reasons. It's a small cast. We are casting just 7 characters here. Because we're not going to cast like the bosses and like all the like whatever cameos. We're going for the main cast today.
Yeah,
Andy, we are going to be casting Kratos, Atreus, Baldur, Freya, Mimir, Brock, Mimir, Brock, and Sindri.
Yeah, I think the last two are what I'm most excited about, to be honest.
Well, let's
all these people.
Why don't we start there then?
Oh my god.
Let's start right there because these characters are the dwarven brothers that kind of help you. They give you upgrades to your weapon as you're going through. You meet one or the other, and then I think it was towards the end you meet them both at the same time. But they're basically kind of the blacksmiths of the universe, and they're making your weapons for you to help you on your journey. This was tough for me to cast because they're obviously dwarves. You can go the obvious route, pick somebody that fits that. But I was actually thinking that these characters would be more of a amalgamation of practical and CG effects. I don't know how you feel about that.
That could work, yeah.
Like face capture and like rendering their faces, but like on these different bodies. How did you approach these parts?
So my initial thought was like, these are like a duo. They're a pair. So should I cast it as such, like great comedy duos, great actors who are sidekicks and such in either a TV or a film franchise? Or do I go like just put 2 actors in who may have worked together but would work well in this regard as siblings in these roles? So a lot of back and forth mentally on this pick, but I decided to go with the great comedy duos to really sell this.
Okay.
So I think these won't be too often on camera.
Right.
They're not really there in the plot as much. I mean, in the game world, it makes sense because they're like your merchants and your upgrades.
Yeah.
So I want them to be really impactful when they're on the screen. And
sure.
I think having a pair that is known for being together in films
interesting.
would make it more meaningful.
Okay.
Now, my first thought was Charlie Day and Danny DeVito. I'm like, okay, that could potentially work.
Okay.
That could work. But I think they're both too nutty. Because someone's got to be straight-laced.
They're a little nutty,
and one's a germaphobe neat freak. So you got to have a more grounded actor, at least who's played more grounded roles.
Oh, boy.
And then I thought, what better picks than Simon Pegg and Nick Frost in these roles? And I'm thinking, just to make it more zany, you have Simon Pegg. He's playing as Sindri, the germaphobe neat freak. Sure. And you have straight-laced Nick Frost playing Brock.
Sure.
Like, he's all business. So that was my pick for this. So
characters. I went with a duo that didn't really perform together on screen, but they were in the same movie. And I thought so highly of both of their performances in this movie. And the movie in question that I'm pulling these two from is Thor Ragnarok. Andy.
Okay. Okay.
And I'm going with Carl Urban, who
All right.
was Scourge. If you
Yeah.
remember, he had a
Yeah.
little bit of a comedic levity. I have him
Sure.
as Brock,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have uh, Taika Waititi, if I'm saying that right.
The name sounds familiar.
So he was the New Zealand giant monster thing that Thor meets in the prison.
Gotcha. Okay. Yes.
I'm blanking on his name right now, but wait, I'll get it.
Right.
Korg. He plays Korg. He's like,
Oh,
oh, take that, monster
you
ghost.
should have said he's the guy from District 9.
See, District 9 is one of those movies I haven't seen, but yes,
Okay.
So I just think the two of them, like him being.
Oh no, wrong actor. Wrong actor. He's the guy from Flight of the Conchords. That's who you're referring to.
Yes, there it is.
Yes.
Yes. Flight of the Yes, I knew he was known for something bigger than that, but I couldn't put my brain to it.
Yes.
So he was so funny as Korg, and I think he could really, add something to that. He's thinner, he's frailer, he's more dainty. He could play that that kind of neat freak. But here's the thing.
Well,
here's why.
Tell me.
Here's why I think my little duo here is probably a better fit for the film. And that's because Simon Pegg is still going to be in this movie in my cast.
Oh, is he your Mimir?
He is.
See, now I had a different pick for Sindri as well, but I was like, he might make a good Mimir too when I think about it. So should we jump into Mimir at this point? Let's work our way backwards in the cast.
Yes,
okay,
yes.
I wanted to go more Shakespearean theater actor with mine.
Okay.
But I was like, I need someone that has more flexibility, who can do drama and can really sell lines really well, like comedic timing. And I thought a good budget pick for this role, with some minor star power, at least back in the day, Bobcat Goldthwait.
All right, so Simon Pegg it is. So I can't even like.
You can see it.
Do you think of you think
I
Wise?
mean, don't do his Police Academy 4. Don't do his shtick voice that he does.
No, of course not. But I mean, he's supposed to be like this wise, like know-it-all,
that's
encyclopedia of knowledge.
He still will be.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
All right, cool. So that's our Mimir set aside. Now I think my Freya is a good pick. I got a decent ass Freya.
So with my Freya, who again is not necessarily a character that's on all the time, but I feel like whenever this character comes up, it needs to be powerful, yet motherly and loving, and have that sense of matriarchy or just like that kind of thing. Like you want to look in her eyes and feel both strength and comfort. And I reached into some star power for this one. I don't have a ton. I think I have two and a half big names on this thing, but it's a small cast, so I think you need those two leads.
Right.
But this is kind of my other strong point, and I think when you're writing a movie, you might want to elaborate more on her character a little bit.
Right. I mean, she plays a major role with Baldur and her whole story arc, so I think she'll be basically more in the story than in the game, for example.
Yes, I think you need her to be woven to the stuff that Kratos and Atreus don't see.
Right.
You need more of her.
More than just like, oh, she's some weird side witch that does shit for you.
Right.
Like, oh, here's a bow enchantment.
Right. So I'm going with the powerful, the beautiful Gal Gadot.
Oh, that's a solid pick.
That's who I'm going with. She's exotic
pick.
Enough.
That's a solid pick.
She's Where did you go with that?
That's a good pick. So I went with more of a TV actor.
Okay, you went TV.
Actress.
Okay. That's fine.
someone that has done roles that are gentle and frail and also rough and you know, a little intimidating at
Mm-hmm.
times.
Mm-hmm.
And I think her look, I think, kind of matches Freya a little bit.
Okay.
Um, Laura Prepon from that '70s show.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
That was my pick. Mhm. I
Interesting.
think I think I like Gal Gadot as a pick in terms of like she's not really fighting in this. She has
No.
a more detached role. It's
Mm-hmm.
more of a mom and just I can't get that range of emotion, I think, from Gal Gadot in this movie. I
Mm-hmm.
think Laura could sell that being a mom and just that pain more than I think Gal could. But Gal could surprise us and and act.
I mean, yeah. I want her. I want
And
her.
plus, she's not highly sexualized either, Laura Prepon. Like Gal, you
Mm,
gotta hide all her good bits. Great
sure,
disservice. Great
sure.
disservice to Gal
But
Gadot.
they didn't really do that in like Wonder Woman. Like they made her
Right,
more of like just a she's a warrior. Like they focused on
right,
that there. So like you don't
right. Well,
you
that's what makes her
can
sexy. It's her power.
sure sure sure.
Yeah.
Um, that and she's a supermodel.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's true.
So now we need to cast
Oh boy,
who is going to go
this is the big
toe to
ones.
toe
This is the big
with
ones.
Kratos
This is
throughout
the
this
big ones.
whole movie.
This is the big one. This one I
Um,
thought long and hard on while I was thinking about it, because he'll be the whole film naked, basically,
mm-hmm.
all tattooed up. What's your pick? I want you to go first on this one. I'm nervous.
I looked at historical works from this actor
Mm-hmm.
and married it just a little bit with the last thing we most people know him for,
Mm-hmm.
which was disappointing. But
Okay.
he has commitment. He
Mm-hmm.
could do the psychotic.
Mm-hmm.
He is thin. We know he
Mm-hmm.
can get into shape. We've
Mm-hmm.
seen him do this actiony sort of stuff before.
Has he been in the superhero film before?
He has. And
I
I
wonder
am,
if
of
it's the
course,
same pick.
referring to
I wonder.
Jared Leto.
Oh, okay. Close to my pick. Very
Hmm.
close.
Okay. I'm going with Jared Leto because I feel, or
Mm-hmm.
Leto, whatever his name is, because I feel like he has the dynamic range
Mm-hmm.
to be physically smaller than my Kratos, which
Mm-hmm.
when I get to that you'll see like he's not a mountain of a person, but he's
Mm-hmm.
physically a dominant person.
Mm-hmm.
His um so he can make up for his physical shortcomings with his psychotic dynamic range. And I think Jared showed in when he did Joker, which was not good, but mostly not. I really don't think that was his portrayal. It was
Mm-hmm.
like the design of him.
Well, that's just what you get to work with, basically.
It fit him in. Like you looked at him and you're like, you're a douchebag. Like not
Right.
you're a
Like
psycho murder killer.
if he was given that script and told to dress that way, then he did okay with that role at the end of the day.
Sure. And
The
I
best
want
he
to see
could.
more
The
from
best
him.
he could.
I want to see more from him,
Mhm.
and I think he would make a pretty damn good Balder.
That is a great pick. I will agree with that. That's a great pick. I think my pick, there is a little bit of a Sony connection,
Oh my.
which might make it an easier pitch. And
Okay.
maybe get some budget contractually, like, hey, you were in this movie, we want you in this as well, like a 2-for-1 special, get you on the cheap.
Okay.
He's done a lot of drama. He's
Okay.
done but he's done his fair bit of twisted psychotic as well. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Okay.
If you
I
see
could
him
see
in
that.
if you see him in Nightcrawler,
I could see that. I
yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could totally see him doing that.
If you see him in Enemy, yes. With the little scruff beard going on, yeah.
I mean, he's got
I think that should
yeah,
work.
I could see that working.
He's
I
got
could
the
see
right
that
look, the
working.
face, the physique. I think it's a good fit. And I think he would have a lot of fun with it. I think Jared will take it too seriously, like his method acting. Both great, but I think Jared is like Jake. There was a little bit more to that role, I think, than Jared could. Just my 2 cents on that.
Hold on, I want to scroll down here. I want to see who. I want to make sure I'm remembering this correctly. Jeremy Davies played Balder in The Voice. Interesting. Okay. I thought for some reason
he kind of has like the look of it too, but
I mean, there were plenty of ways we can go for that. Like,
right.
I was thinking of I forget, I don't remember what the guy's name is, but he's one of the main characters in the show Vikings.
Okay.
He's got like the braided. I don't know. You see him a bunch in like the promotional art. I thought he looked the part. All right, so let's get into now the top two parts. This is what's going to carry your film.
Right.
The relationship between Kratos and Atreus are what propel the story through. It is a father-son relationship. And of course, finding young actors that can play children is not that easy. So I kind of took an easy route. I took somebody that I think that I know can do the part, that could play the frailty of the part, but also the strength of the part, but may not necessarily fit the physique of the part or whatever. But I think, hair and makeup, you could do anything.
Right. And the proper wardrobe, then you're fine.
But I went with the Stranger Things Finn Wolfhard.
Okay.
He plays Mike. He's a bit older now. He was in Adam Sandler's Hubie Halloween. He looked very clean, like just like a clean, like little middle America, whatever boy. But I think you could dirty him up, and we know he has the dramatic chops. Based on Stranger Things, even at a super young, much younger age, we know that he can carry drama. And I just don't know a lot of children actors by name. I don't watch, a lot of stuff like that. So I was like, what do I know? I know Stranger Things. Who do I think could no, that person, no, that person. It's like, oh, but this could work. So that's kind of where I went with that.
That's why my first thought was, who was in the first part of Stephen King's It, and who would fit this role? That was my first reaction. Okay. Then I did some more thinking, and I landed on an actor. I don't think you would know him, Gabriel Bateman. He was in.
Bateman. Let's look it up.
He does a lot of horror. He did Lights Out. He did Outcast, a TV show, and I think he has that look, just that right look that you get from like an Atreus. Like, he can play innocence really well, but when he gets angry, which you would need for those pivotal scenes in God of War, I think he would sell it pretty well.
I'm looking at this now.
Yeah.
Was he in Child's Play?
He was in Child's Play. Yes, he
plays Andy in Child's Play.
His last major role. Yeah.
Oh, he could totally do it. Yeah, sure. Yeah. He's got the look. He's definitely got the look.
Yeah.
All right, Andy. It's time.
This was a weird one for me. This was like, oh my god! Like, when you start thinking about this character, Kratos, like there's a healthy amount of options you can go with. It's not easy.
The thing I struggled with was, do I want to make this a purely beefy, giant, powerful dude? Do I want to go black with the character? Because the voice actor and the voice. Now, he's the ghost of Sparta. He is white. He's pale. He's got the red tattoos. So I was, as I was racking my head, I was like, I want an action star that I know can do drama. I want an action star that can carry a film, and an action star that I know will take it super seriously. That was kind of like where I started, because that right there eliminates, even though that some of them are pretty good, it eliminates guys that would fit the look of the part more, like a Dave Bautista, your professional wrestlers that turned actors, or your, I don't know, your Jason Momoa's. Like,
Yeah, he was my initial pick too, but I was like, do I know because he's actually expressed interest in playing the role over the
right,
years.
right.
And I'm like, I don't know about that. Something feels off about it to me. I think him as Kratos kind of like it doesn't seem legitimate anymore if he's playing
He's
Kratos.
not. Yeah, Kratos to me needs to be weathered.
Yeah.
Especially this Kratos, because we're gonna be assuming, and we'll get into the story right after we reveal who we're casting. But this character's been through a lot more than I think a Jason Momoa's look would show you. Like, even if you look at him as the Dothraki whatever king, he was still a pretty boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. Kratos is not a pretty boy. Kratos
No.
is beaten up. He's gross looking. He's got a big ass, broken ass nose. I think if you take the Bane and Mad Max Tom Hardy
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and Fury Tom Hardy, and you
mm-hmm,
kind of mash them into a ball,
mm-hmm.
and you say to Tom Hardy, "Hey man, you're the god of war. You're
Right.
Kratos." I think him having a dynamic with a child actor, a parental thing,
Mm-hmm,
a paternal thing, as
mm-hmm,
well as just the physical rawness that character is, I
mm-hmm,
think our dude Tom Hardy could
mm-hmm.
knock it out of the park.
Funny, he was actually on my list to do Balder at one point as I was contemplating
I thought you were
who,
going to go with him when you were
who to
when you were
cast as these
describing
roles. Yeah.
the whole Sony
So
thing.
I think that is I think that is a great pick. When we have him because he was awesome in Venom.
I never saw Venom.
Oh, you should watch it at least once, just for the experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just to say you did it.
Sure.
So I thought about this long and hard, and this may sound like a slight cop out, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. The actual voice actor himself, Christopher Judge, I think
Okay.
could crush this. I mean, the guy is like 6'2".
Yeah. No. I mean, I
He's
think he might be bigger
he
than that.
yeah, he's brolic as all fuck. The only issue I have with that pick is the lacking star power, like the name recognition of it to
Uh huh.
carry it, like you know, on the billing, like Tom Hardy in God of War. That's a poster.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of the thing. Hmm. The thing
But
about
he's done the voice, he's done the acting. That's why I'm like, he could do it. Like, if I want to hear someone say "boy," like I want to hear
boy,
him saying it, and he's the
right
only one that can do it.
now, he's how old is he? Because I feel like, yeah, he's 56.
Right. So he has. I mean, and his face looks like he's been through some shit.
Well, yeah, of course. I just
Yeah.
don't know. I mean, I'm down. Like, I'm always down for that
Oh
kind of
yeah.
thing. Um,
Yeah.
but again, for the whole star power thing, now, if you're making this, if you're
Yeah.
Sony, you're not casting him. It's not going to happen.
No, you're not.
If it's a
You're not.
Sony movie production, yada yada.
Right. I mean,
Um,
they just cast Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, which looks pretty good, by the way.
he does. He
That
looks
that
good.
that's the look is good. Acting we'll see, but the look is actually pretty spot on.
Hmm. I mean, that's interesting. But then, do you need to recast his son?
Not really. I mean, listen, it's the God of War.
I
He'll
mean,
be in
yeah. I
his,
mean, it doesn't really matter. But I'm
he'll
just
be
saying, like,
he'll be ashened up. I mean, or you could do all this, you could CGify it.
that's weird. Because then you're just casting the voice anyway.
Right, but
Can he get into? Is
this,
he brolic? Can this guy get into that kind of
yeah,
shape? You think?
he already is in shape.
Okay. I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
looking at his IMDb, but
yeah.
he's a voice. Yeah,
And the thing is, like, a man his age can rock that dad bod pretty well too.
Mm, mm.
But again, it's like my one Achilles heel. That's funny. Is it's the Tom Hardy it just elevates it to like again. It's why you cast Scarlett Johansson in every fucking movie that comes under the sun
Right.
because
Yeah.
it's like people know who she is.
You want the marquee.
Right. I mean, gamers would appreciate that casting, but will the mainstream audience appreciate a Christopher Judge?
Right.
I don't know.
They'd be like,
I don't
who
know.
is that? All right. So before we kick it to the end of the show, let's discuss what we're going to change about how the story kind of plays out, because the way the game is, it's structured on kind of visiting these other realms.
It's the journey too. Yeah.
The journey too. Bumping into Baldur along the way, and then a couple of other bigger creatures that aren't necessarily bosses, but
Thor's kin and other things like that.
Yeah. So I think what you probably need to do for this movie is make the movie start the way the game does with the Baldur confrontation. So you get right out the way that Kratos has an equal, right? Kratos has somebody that could kick the shit out of him. You show that Atreus is not strong. Atreus has a lot of learning to do. And you make the whole movie kind of like a never-ending story-esque journey to find Baldur again, because you cannot let him win or whatever. Like, figure out a way to make it, because the whole thing is they're trying to get the boy, right? Like, he keeps showing up because he's trying to get Atreus. But instead of having Baldur be the person that keeps to try and get Atreus, maybe it's just these like Rita Repulsa, like, send my monster to like try and get the boy. And that could be them going through, not the Neverending Story, the Princess Bride, like the Neverending Forest. Like, they go into like these locales, and each locale has its own danger that is set up by, Baldur, and we don't want to spoil anything, but like that whole reason that they want to get Atreus back. And then that could be the whole thing, is that in every one of these locales, Kratos is teaching Atreus something about himself, awakening something within him, so that by the time, because Kratos knows that his journey's his days are numbered, right? So
in a
like,
sense, yeah.
You could kind of set it up where he needs Atreus to be at a certain point before they get to where they need to go, because Kratos knows what has to be done, and knows that Atreus in the beginning is not ready to do that thing. So this is more a story about Atreus and his evolution, because the viewer in this film does not know what Kratos has gone through. Like, we may have, I picture like an opening title sequence where you're seeing what Kratos has been through in like drawings, like, just like he did this, he did this, he did this, and now he's here.
Yeah, you look like a first 3-game recap in a sense, like what he's been through, a little montage in a sense.
Right, and it could be told from the perspective of like Zeus, like, or whatever, just like, this is what we put him through, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And now we can't find him.
Yeah.
And then it could pick up right where he's got this new life, in a totally different mythology.
Right. I think covering all of the realms that are in the game might be a bit much in a sense, even though that whole like going to different areas is kind of nice. It really has a whole storytelling of you're on this epic journey. It's like kind of like Lord of the Rings. You're just traveling somewhere, essentially. But I think at the very least, if you're going to make some cuts or keep things in, you need the Helheim realm to really sell the stress and the drama of Kratos' past with his dad and what he's been through, and his horrible past. I think that's like your big set piece.
And that would set up
the film.
And that would give a lot of exposition into who he is, because it's not as impactful. Who he is in the 2018 version is not as impactful if you don't know where he came from. So I think slowly peppering that kind of stuff in would really help you understand that this is a journey for him too, not just a journey for Atreus.
Right, and you can cut like fighting big dragons like that. You can cut because you're trying to tell more of like this family-oriented tale, because it's all about the sins of the father and the son, and also again the mother and the son dynamics. It's all about that in this whole story. So that's your primary push, and then I would keep that last boss fight almost as it is in the game in this film.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's your big finale.
And I would end it on the post-credit scene.
Right.
That that the game does. I would end it the same exact way.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know what that is, look, play the game for yourself.
I mean, you're not gonna change much. And the idea that we're gonna get a sequel to this game next year is a little bonkers to me.
It's enticing.
It's a little nervous about that.
Exciting.
We're gonna get a part 2 on our PS5
very amusing
in like a year's time.
All right. Whew. That is going to do it for
casting. That's a great cast you got.
Episode 2.
Some solid picks.
The God of War.
Yeah.
If you like what you're listening, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up and leave in the comments below what your cast for the God of War movie. Which one did you like? Who would you put in this thing from our picks? Who had the better cast? It doesn't matter. Just let us know in the comments below. If you want to follow us on social media, we're at NDS Podcast. I'm at Batchild27 and Andy is at PantsGuy. And you can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/DS podcasts, and of course on Twitch at twitch.tv/dual-screen-streams. I am Stephen Fontana. That is Andy Esimakis. This has been Casting Call. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, please be excellent to each other.